So in Philippians in chapter 4, Paul gives us some super practical advice about how we as Christians can really manage and maintain during a time of crisis. Now, I really like Paul because Paul is not writing this text as though he has his life together, like he's never gone through anything. He's not just throwing out spiritual axioms from someone who's already obtained and is already living a perfect life. In fact, in Philippians, Paul is actually writing this letter to the church of Philippi from prison. That's right. Paul is sitting in prison and he's writing his letter. So if anyone knows about crisis or pandemic, like Paul is going through his own little pandemic. He's going through his own little crisis where he's in prison. But yet look what Paul says in Philippians chapter 4. He says, be anxious for nothing. He says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known unto God with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God will keep and guard your hearts. Now, I don't know what world Paul is living in, but he's in prison, writing to people telling them, be anxious for nothing. How is it that Paul, while in prison, could be telling someone else, be anxious for nothing? Well, you actually have to like rewind just or reverse just a few verses before verse 6, because in verse 3 Paul is writing and he's saying, listen, I want you to encourage these people. I want you to encourage these workers over here. They're doing a good work. And at the very end of verse 3, Paul says, these people's names are written in the book of life. There it is. It's almost like Paul is saying, the reason why I can be anxious for nothing is because I know where my end is going to be. Like, I know that this is not the end of the story for me, but there is a life after this. And for Paul, heaven was not just some distant reality, but heaven was a present reality. It wasn't a future hope. It was a present hope that he held on to, that informed everything he went through. And so I want to tell you today, if you're a believer, be anxious for nothing, because your name is written in the book of life. And so with prayer and supplication and thanksgiving, just tell God what you need, and the peace of God will keep and guard your heart.